boxing on Channel 5. Defending his name, his legacy. Harlem Eubank, battling his way up the super lightweight rankings. Can he remain undefeated? Big Fight Live, Eubank versus Uruzquieta, Friday at 10 on Channel 5.
Razavan IFL TV proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to have me on Zoom. Ohara Davies. Odie, what's going on?
Nothing much. Enjoying foods, still getting fat, still eating. I put on 12 kilos since I fought 2 weeks ago. I put on 12 kilos in 2 weeks, and I'm still building on that. You know.
Wow, that's nearly 2 stone.
And I got some more to put on as well. I just can't stop eating. Today, I woke up in the morning. I looked at my fridge. All I could see was Twix, Kinder Bueno. I said, nah, this right here is not healthy. Open up the cupboard. I'm trying to find something healthy, some eggs or something like that, so I can make egg on toast. I see crisp, I see Quavers, I see McCoy's. It's all I see, crisps and some chocolates. And I'm thinking to myself, I've got to change. I can't continue living this way. But it feels so good.
I mean,
it feels so good.
2 stone in 2 weeks. That's a lot of weight, Odie.
Last night I had apple crumble and custard, and I had a pizza before that. This is where the weight is, And then I looked at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, what's happened to me? It's totally out of control.
You only live once, though. You only live once. Ohara, I know you're quite involved this week. I've seen it on Twitter, Instagram, supporting a good friend of yours, Auntie Joshua, who returned back to the ring last night. I know you were at the Wayne on Friday night. Overall, how did you see his performance?
I'm speaking as a fan of AJ, not as a boxing fan. What I'm gonna say is, as a fan of AJ, what a fan of boxing, they'll obviously have a different opinion to me. But I'm glad that he got the win. He hasn't won a fight in years because he's been fighting the top contenders in the past few years, and he hasn't taken any easier fights. So, the Usyk fight, it was close. The second fight, you almost had him out there. I think it was round 9. And it was a really tough fight, close fight. And even before that, he fought Usyk again, another hard fight. And he hasn't got a win in a couple of years. So I feel like it was good for him to finally get the victory under his belt, to get the momentum back, and get back to winning ways.
Hara, you faced adversity in the ring. You've had a couple of losses. He's had a couple of losses, 3, I believe.
Yeah.
It seems like, from the outside, it seems like, from everyone's perspective, that he's still struggling to come to terms with something. He wasn't as committed with his punching as he normally is. Do you see the same that others are seeing?
I see that as well, yes. And this is why I'm saying, as a boxing fan, they'll see something different, because boxing fans, they want to see entertainment. Boxing fans don't care about the well-being of AJ. Boxing fans don't care about the well-being of any fighters. They're not paying to have our well-being okay. They're paying to get entertained. And what they saw in the ring last night probably wasn't entertainment. Like what they saw in the Dillian White fight. Like, you see all those years ago when he fought Dillian White, clips go, that was just pure entertainment. People getting knocked out, people going down, punches being thrown. The fighters taking hits, both fighters taking hits. And last night, that's not what we saw. We saw a smart, calculated AJ that fought the smart fight, that didn't take no hits, that got the victory done in clean fashion. And that's not what boxing fans, that's not what they're paying to see. But, AJ's got to think about himself, and he's at the age and he's at that stage of his boxing career where he's got to think about himself. And I feel like he now understands and he realizes the fans don't love him. It was okay when he was unbeaten and he won the Olympic gold and everyone's on his back and he's got all the supporters. And now I'm looking online and everyone's not only are they saying, they're hoping AJ gets knocked out, that he gets beat. There's more bets going down for AJ to lose, and he hasn't got the support that he once had. And I feel like that's affected him mentally. It's affected him. Everyone can see. Like, I'm looking at the interview after the fight. I'm looking at the way that he is, that the persona. AJ is not the happy AJ that we used to see. I feel like before he was much more happier, and I feel like now maybe he might be going through stuff in his personal life, I don't know. But you know, the AJ we see now is more of a I'm about my business AJ, whereas before it was more I'm a happy AJ, the world's a happy place, is more positive. Now it's just like a different mindset. And in the ring, you know, the AJ we used to see against Dillian White wasn't the AJ that we saw, but ultimately he got the victory done in good fashion. Uh, you know, and he's got a new coach, and he's got a new coach. So it was about adjusting to the tactics of this new coach. He's been from Rob McCracken, from Rob McCracken to Angel Fernandez and Robert Garcia. Now he's got Derek James, and you know, he has had a lot of coaches in a short number of years, and you know, he's just trying to find that coach that can bring him to the best, that can bring out the best AJ. Me personally, I think Rob McCracken was the perfect coach for him. I think with him and Rob, that was the perfect team. Um, but you know, AJ is all about expanding, increasing. So even while he was with Rob for years, he felt like in himself, I've got more to learn. He felt I've got more to learn, which is why he went over to Angel Fernandez and to Robert Garcia. But I think Rob was the perfect coach for him. But you know, I don't know what was happening in camp. There's obviously things that I don't know what happened. But me, from the outside, looking in as a boxing fan, I feel like Rob was the best coach for him. The performances that he had under Rob, the mentality he had under Rob, and he was with Rob even before he turned pro. He was with Rob from the GB team. So if anyone knows him well, best, it is Rob McCracken. Rob was with AJ before the money, before any of the stuff, before all the money came through. So the way Rob sees him and the love that Rob's got for him, a lot of the coaches that he's had after Rob are not gonna have. It's just business now. Literally. I know Derek James, that's his coach, right? I know he's a good man, you know, he's a good family man and he's got other good fighters there. But ultimately Derek James doesn't know AJ like Rob knows AJ. Angel Fernandez, Robert Garcia don't know AJ like Rob knows AJ. But obviously, being there, there was something that AJ felt like I'm not getting under Rob. And sometimes it takes you going to a coach or two to finally realize this was the man for me. And, you know, me as a boxing fan, looking in from the outside, I think Rob's the best coach for him.
One of the things that Dominic Ingle said in an interview was that he feels like Anthony Joshua has already peaked. That we've seen the best Anthony Joshua. Do you agree with those?
I think we've seen the best Anthony Joshua in the past. Yes, the Anthony Joshua we saw last night. I think we've seen better AJs in the past, but we don't know. We can't say that he's peaked because his boxing career is not done. If his boxing career was done, then we can say he's already peaked all those years ago. But his boxing career is not done. That was his first fight under Derek James. So until we see how he fights, how he performs in his next 3 or 4 fights, then then we can make statements like that. But while his boxing career is not done, we can't make a statement like that because we're not sure what is to come. But definitely, I think the best AJ we've seen is probably the Dillian White Klitschko AJ. That's the best we've seen so far. But we can't say that he's peaked until his boxing career is done. So he's still got to wait another 3 or 4 fights. I feel like a lot of these coaches saying this and saying that about AJ, they just don't like him for whatever reason. A lot of coaches, a lot of fighters are jealous of him, the success he's got in a short space of time. A lot of people are so jealous, and they've all been waiting to AJ gets into a place like this in his boxing career, in his mentality where he's looking a bit rocky, and then they're just bang saying this and saying that about him because they never liked him. But now they've got an opportunity to say something bad about him. They're gonna slate him. They're gonna slate his coach. They're gonna say whatever they want to say. A lot of these coaches are just jealous, and you know I think Dominic Ingle's a good man, but for him to say something like that, being as experienced as he is, Derek, you know, he's a very experienced coach, and for him to say something like this, you know, about AJ, I think is wrong. You know, he's had his own fighters that you know, that he's got to focus on. Look what happened. Like, look at that video we saw of Kell Brook the other day. Look at, you know, he's had other fighters that he's had under him that have had fights that they should have won that they didn't win. And you know, I don't see AJ going online saying bad things about him or saying this and that about him. Like, come on. So for him, you know, if a statement like that is more what I would expect from a coach that isn't experienced, that doesn't know the game. Come on.
I think more so to clarify, OD, I think he was asked a question and then he kind of gave a kind of a respectful response. It didn't come across spiteful or anything like that.
It didn't come across spiteful, but it is to say that a man's peaked when his boxing career is not done. I think that's wrong. I think that's quite a spiteful thing to say. Me personally, I don't like that. The guy's boxing career is not done. He fought Usyk for the unified world championship. He put on a good fight, and he had one fight last night under a coach that is his first fight under this new coach, and you're saying that he's already peaked. That's a very wrong thing to say. Darwin Ingle, he knows better than that. He's been around the game for years, and he knows better than that to say something like that.
A lot of people online would say if that was Tyson Fury last night, it could have been career ending for Anthony Joshua. He's made it very clear that he wants to fight Fury next. Eddie Hearn
but it wasn't Tyson Fury last night. If it was against Tyson Fury last night, he would have had a different game plan ultimately. No, he would have had a whole different game plan. Obviously, if it was Tyson Fury with that game plan he had, it wouldn't have worked against him. But it wasn't Tyson Fury. He hasn't won a fight in a couple of years. He wanted a comeback fight that's not going to be the hardest fight, which is okay. We got all these fighters out there that have got beat once and then bang, they go and take an easy fight. AJ got beat 2 or 3 times or 4 times and he's still taking hard fights. It's okay for him to take a bit of an easier fight. It's okay. That was just a confidence building fight. Boxing fans and the public are so fast to put someone down. It's what the British media do. The media and the public, the fans, they all build you up, and then they crush you down. They say all these nice things about you, and then bang, they say all these bad things about you. And the British public and the British media, they don't support their own. They don't. They build you up, then they knock you down when the time's done. And this is what AJ is just realizing now. This is what he's realizing now. This is why I think that he ain't happy, because the way that the people just completely turn on him. Mad. But yeah, if it was Tyson Fury last night, yes. Would he have lost? Yes. But it wasn't Tyson Fury. And when that fight does come, there'll be a whole other game plan.
Do you feel like Anthony Joshua can become a heavyweight champion?
Yes, of course he can. With that performance last night, obviously not. But with the future performances that he will have under Derek James, once he fully gels with this new coach, he can, yes. He can, yes. I believe so. Why not? He's already done it 2 times. Now it's going to be a lot harder. We got Tyson Fury back. Deontay Wilder. All these fights are all hard fights. So it's not like he's 100% going to achieve this. But is he able to? Yes. It just depends on what AJ we see in the next few fights. But we can't judge, we can't gauge until we see his next 2 or 3 fights.
Okay, OD, appreciate giving me a little bit of time. I know you're on your way out to see a couple of friends. So yeah, I appreciate giving me a little bit of time. And yeah, let's hope we'll catch up soon face to face.
Thank you.
Ohara Davies, IFL TV. Thank you very much.
Right, the bouncer's gulping. This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,